Hello, and we are back into Habakkuk. So let's just remind ourselves what's gone before. Habakkuk's complained because of all the unrighteousness, injustice, evil of various sorts going on within Jerusalem and Judah. And God has said, I'm going to do something. If I told you I was going to do it, you wouldn't believe me. And then tells him and says that he's going to send the Babylonians. Now, Habakkuk at this point, I think, wishes he hadn't bothered asking. It seems worse than the actual situation. The solution seems worse than the situation. So we then get what is, at least my Bible is entitled, Habakkuk's second complaint. So chapter 1, verse 12, we'll read a couple of verses first of all. Or maybe just one verse, two verses, I think. Lord, are you not from everlasting? My God, my Holy One, you will never die. You, Lord, have appointed them to execute judgment. You, my rock, have ordained them to punish. Your eyes are too pure to look on evil. You cannot tolerate wrongdoing. Why then do you tolerate the treacherous? Why are you silent while the wicked swallow up those more righteous than themselves? So let's see what Habakkuk's doing here, apart from complaining. First of all, he recognises who God is. He's from everlasting. He's the Holy One. He is his God. And he can understand that God wanting to execute judgment upon Jerusalem. Jerusalem well deserved it. But Babylon was even worse than Jerusalem. Why do you tolerate the treacherous? What are you using this lot for? So this is the essence, and we're going to expand on it in the next few verses, of Habakkuk's complaint. And I think for all of us, there are times when we can look, whether it's our lives as individuals or families, or we're looking just more widely at society, and I think, this doesn't make sense. God, I know that you're holy. I know that you're good. I know that you love me. Why are you letting this happen? Why are you not doing something about it? And at that point, we've essentially got two options, or two ways we can go. One is, we're not going to stop believing in God. There's no God. Or if there is a God, he is evil. That's not the approach that Habakkuk takes. The other approach is that, God, I know you're holy. I believe in you, God. I trust you. But I can't see how what you're doing or not doing is consistent with that. I don't understand what you're doing, God. That's the approach. I still believe you're God, but I can't understand what you're doing. And that's the situation we have here with Habakkuk. And so he goes on, verses 14 to 17. You've made people like the fish in the sea, like sea creatures that have no ruler. The wicked foe pulls them all up with hooks and catches them in his net. He gathers them up in his dragnet, so he rejoices and is glad. Therefore he sacrifices to his net and burns incense to his dragnet. For by his net he lives in luxury and enjoys the choicest food. Is he to keep on emptying his net, destroying nations without mercy? Now what he's talking about here is that Babylon was conquering nations left, right and centre, expanding her empire. And because of all the success she has had, Babylon worshipped idols and just worshipped the idols all the more. And Habakkuk is sent to say, God, what are you letting this carry on for? And all they're doing is going to worship their idols all the more than they did before. I don't see how this is working. And if we do one verse from chapter 2, which kind of seems to belong with what went before them. Maybe they've put the chapter division in the right place. Look, chapter divisions are not an official part of the Bible. We all have chapters and verses. They're extremely useful and helpful. There are times to ignore them. They're normally put in fairly sensible places. Occasionally you wonder, well, that's not the best place to put it. So let's just read verse 1 of chapter 2. So Habakkuk is confused. Doesn't understand what God is doing. But he still believes he's God, that God is God. And this is how he reacts at the end here. I will stand at my watch and station myself on the ramparts. I will look to see what he will say to me. and what answer I am to give to this complaint. So Habakkuk's not hiding from the fact that he doesn't understand what God's up to and how God can possibly allow things to go this way. But he is still looking for God for the answer. He is waiting on the Lord. Sometimes you can think of waiting on the Lord as being a nice holy thing to do. Sometimes it's not so holy. Habakkuk he's just tormented, he's possibly in a rage, possibly angry, but he's still looking to God. And that's a lesson for all of us. There are times in life when we will go through things in our own lives, wondering, God, what the heck are you up to? And if we look at the nation, or look at the nations, we can have pretty much the same feelings. We must still wait upon the Lord. So we'll stop there. And from this point on, things start to get better. So something for you to look forward to.